man I loved turned out to be part of my family's darkest secret. The siren cut across a hot night as I stepped into my parents' garage with a borrowed key. A fresh dent dimmed the passenger door of my mother's sedan, and a brown smear clung to the plate that was not rust. He was already in the kitchen, sleeves rolled, moving like he belonged to us. We met when my office hired his crew to gut the 4th floor. He lifted drywall with an easy rhythm. When a leak collapsed my ceiling, he patched it and stacked boxes along the wall. I moved faster around him, as if he had set a metronome in my chest. A week after the dent, the news showed a county road, rain on the lens, a shoe in the weeds. The hit and run happened 2 miles from my parents' driveway. My mother folded laundry that didn't belong to anyone. My father called from the precinct and said he would be late. At the vigil for the unnamed woman, we stood at the back. He drove my mother home, filled my father's tank, and hung an air freshener that made the car smell like a waiting room. The house held its breath. A letter arrived with no return address. Inside lay a grainy photo of my mother's car at a gas station where the clock had been broken for years. A number was written in block print. My father cleaned the counters twice, then the floor. He asked to borrow the garage to finish a project. He pulled down the attic ladder and came back with a small metal box I remembered. Inside were cash envelopes, a motel receipt on the highway, and a torn corner from a police report with my father's pen marks. There was also a tiny bracelet with a hospital tag and a last name not ours. The bracelet sent me to my grandmother's trunk. Under a quilt lay a birth certificate with whiteout along the bottom, and a notarized letter naming a guardian who never lived in our town. The dates led to a winter when my mother left for a week and returned with a story about caring for an aunt who died before spring. Another letter named a figure and a deadline. It warned that the woman by the canal finally had a name, and a brother who remembered a wrong car turning right and never stopping. My boyfriend's quiet shifted from gentle to fixed, like a door pulled, almost closed. On the deadline day, my father handed me an envelope for a P.O. box by the highway. In the lot, my boyfriend waited by his truck with the gas station photo. He slid the envelope through the slot and walked me back to my car. That night, he set the metal box on my table. A prepaid phone buzzed against the motel receipt. A voicemail said the money would keep the story buried and that someone would make sure the report never saw daylight. The callback number matched the block print. The name flashing on the screen matched the tiny hospital bracelet. He powered the phone down and placed my key beside it. He had chosen my family before he chose me. He knew the woman by the canal and the boy she left behind, because he was that boy, grown into a man. He dated me to learn the map of my house and the habits that guarded the secret. He turned the screws until it made the sound he wanted. Morning brought quiet. My father's car sat washed on the driveway. My mother watered petunias. The attic ladder was folded tight. Across town, a check cleared and a case number dimmed from the docket. The prepaid phone stayed dark in the box. He left his mug on the counter and his jacket on the chair, as if he meant to return. I stood at the sink with the sponge and tried to find a mark on the counter that would not wipe away.